but even as we're looking at some of these conversations, I believe imagination plays a big part. And Mr. Kalua, I want you to come in here. Your name actually says Green. You are Kalua Green. Can you paint a picture for us? And the other gentlemen, I want you guys to chip in as well. Okay. Can you paint a picture for us of what an actual green economy actually looks like? It's a buzzword. It's something people are throwing around in conferences, but what does it actually look like? What does it look like? You drive a green car. What does that actually look like, sister? Yeah, he does. It's literally green in color. It's green in color. It's green in color, and it's electric. It has what's the range? 400 kilometers? 500?
Yeah. And
most of the times he's doing green in terms of what he dresses and.
So let me paint
the picture. Gentlemen, add the details.
Before I do that, I am the most excited person in the world today to be amongst younger people with the zeal that I see. And I realize that it is not in vain that in the last 18 years, I've been spending time more in advising and nurturing younger people who have that zeal in this space. So I'm really excited to be in this show. And I say that because if the policy is not protecting them, if they are not connecting with the policy, it is the responsibility of the policy makers to wake up and to have sleepless nights to try and connect with them. When we talk about agriculture, agribusiness, even as we do as good as my colleague is doing in hydroponics and all that, we need to protect agriculture in Kenya end to end through policy. There are simple actions that people may not know what is eating them. For example, and I've given this example many times, we are suffering from pests and diseases, spending billions of donor funds to ensure that agriculture grows to deal with this pest, to deal with that, billions of shillings, billions of dollars. Why? Just because we are not implementing small standards that have been set out across. And I'm very happy to see Kaluki wearing a badge of sustainable development goals. How has that been brought to the ground for Wanjiko to understand what sustainable development goals is? When we talk about the crops, there is an international standards that is called ISPM 41, International Standards for Phytosanitary Measurements, number 41. It states that importation of vehicles and machineries must be checked and a biosecurity inspection must be done, because the biggest threat of environment and particularly agribusiness in countries world over is pests, diseases, and all that goes with it, including importation of soil through vehicles and diseases that are not tested in regions, and therefore is a total mess. That's why you hear armyworms messed up and a whole species. All those species. We need to protect our country from end to end using what is already tried and known. Unfortunately, we do not do some of these things because we don't have data, we don't know how to collect some of these things. But anyway, that's another subject. I'm just encouraging you. When we're talking about trees, we have things that we started years back, the Plant Your Age campaign. Tell an African to just grow trees equivalent to their age, the age of their mother, their children, and all that. When I came here, the first person I met is our common friend. His name is Timothy. And he was asking me, I am continuing to plant trees. I have planted trees equivalent to my age, and I continue to do that. He is one of the reasons that we have 932 million trees planted across the country over the period that Green Africa Foundation was started. Easy solutions that you don't have to fight for. Let me answer your question. I don't know how much my team members, how much it costed them to come here, but I drove at least 25 kilometers away, and each kilometer costed me 2 shillings.
Okay.
because I drove.
50 bob.
I drove here 50 shillings. That's a green economy. That's
In a car?
green-
With how
in
many
a car,
seats?
with the speed just like any other car. Comfort beyond else. Tiny,
You're
yes,
talking
it
about
may be,
e-mobility.
but we are talking about e-mobility. Does the policy allow that to happen and to thrive the way it should be? The answer is separate. We need to do more.
All right.
We
All right.
are talking, the Kenya that I see that is environmentally, that is green, is where an institution like Kenya Forest Service that I hold in very high esteem allows the youth that we are talking about to get into the forest, collect seeds from the trees that are naturally existing in those areas and around homesteads, working with Kenya, the institutions that are related to forestry to package the seeds, be able to sell. And I see my president going out there to say that Kenya has got a bank of trees that have never been imagined to exist, and they are in form of a seed, and they are able to be sold at this much. Kenya exporting so much to that market.
Okay.
I see a country where an institution like the newly formed institution of Nairobi Rivers Commission, creating jobs in, I was looking at it the other day, about 8 different levels, practical jobs that people feel so proud working for. I see an institution, the 62 billion that I was talking about US dollars, met locally by corporates in this country because they have been given a rebate. Take for instance, the river called Tana River or Athi River is 1,200 to go to Mombasa,
Okay.
where you are taking one company to take 4 kilometers or 10 kilometers to do specific activities, if it is planting bamboos, and be able to do different activities, creating jobs down the stream and getting a rebate out of the tax that they are supposed to pay, and therefore it is income that is there. And I have an array, practical, not stories ajaba like what we have been hearing, that are so practical that can take people to jobs. There are low-hanging fruits that we can be able to take up in a space like a motorcycle, where by making more parts locally and including and involving these millions of people in green economy practical routes that
All right.
will take this country to create billions and millions of jobs. That is the green space that I see, and I live it every single day.
You know,
and
Mr.
I feel
Kalua, it's interesting. We always seem to go on break just when you speak.
And
I think it's because we want to digest the inspiration that you're offloading.
And take a look at his green car.
You want to take?
Oh
you
yes,
will not
I'll
come
take a
back.
look at that.
Let's take
after
a short
this break.
We'll be right back. All right.
I'll end it where I started it. Let us not underestimate the value of the mess that climate change is causing to our nation. I dare put it today, repeat it again and again. The bare minimum is 620 billion US dollars. I use dollars just as a value, because I believe in that. And we should therefore align our activities from each of the 47. We are in 47, TV 47. So 47 counties align the baseline to a national presentation where there is a feeling to the ground level.
Okay.
Allow corporates, give them a specific target and a rebate towards that. Follow up the international community through the polluter pays principle that is so clear and tangible, and bring out everything with accountability, and everyone understands, create jobs.
All right.
That is when Kenyans will understand what we are talking about.
All right.
Thank you very much.
All right.